Everyone. Welcome to the May 11th, 2021 Council meeting of the Birmingham City Council. This morning, we'd like to welcome you all joining us. And we have the Pledge of Allegiance, an invocation by Councilor Hilliard, and I will be leading you in the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilor Hilliard.
Yes, thank you, Madam Pro Tem. May we all bow our heads at this moment. Gracious Father, thank you for all the things that you've done for each and every one of us. Father God, thanks for our federal government, Father God, for extending help to our cities, Father God, so we may help many families, Father God. And Father God, thank you for allowing us to wake up and get the breath and strength to serve our constituents, Father God. These are things, Father God, we ask in Jesus' name. Let's all say amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. If you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and truth for all. Thank you very much. At this time, not sure if Madam Clerk or Mr. Clerk will have the roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Abbott. Councilmember Abbott.
Present.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Present.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Present.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Smithman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Woods.
Good morning.
Good morning. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Good morning, President.
And Council President Parker. Council President Parker.
All right. At this time, I'd like to read the council statement regarding our meeting. The Council of the City of Birmingham, having reviewed the agenda presented for this meeting on May 11th, 2021, hereby find that the proposed actions contained on the agenda to be considered at this meeting constitute initial minimum functions of this body. I'd like to have a motion and a second so we can conduct the meeting, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Okay, I'm sorry. Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Aye.
Councilmember Smithman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods.
Aye.
Council President Parker.
Aye.
Okay. And President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye. Mr. Parker, would you like to now take over the meeting? I see you're present.
No, ma'am. Go right ahead. Go ahead.
All right. At this time, I'd like to call for approval of the minutes from the previous meetings of December 1st, December 8th, and December 15th. Do we have a motion for approval of those minutes?
I move approval.
Second.
Councilmember Abbott. Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Smithman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods.
Yep.
Councilmember, okay. President Pro Tem Alexander
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Those minutes are approved. The minutes are not ready for September 29th, 2020 and December 22nd, 2020 to May 4th, 2021. At this time, we'll have a reading of the consideration of items for the consent agenda.
Okay. The consent agenda begins on page 2 with item number 1. Then we go to page 3 with item number 5. And we go over to page 16, item 6 and 7. Page 17, item number 8. Page 19, item number 9 and 10. Page 21, item 11. Page 22, item 12. Page 24, item 13. Page 26, item 14. Page 27, item 15. Page 28, item 16. Page 29, item 17. Page 30, item 18 and 19. Page 31, item 20. Page 32, item 21. Page 33, item 22 and 23. Page 35, items 24 and 25. Page 36, item 26. Page 37, item 27. Page 38, items 28, 30, and 31. Page 39, items 32 and 33. Page 40, items 34, 35, and 36. Page 41, items 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41. Please note on item number 37, the amount has changed to $14,999. On page 42, items 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, and 47. On page 43, items 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53. On page 44, items 54, 55, 57, and 58. Item 56 has been requested to be withdrawn by PEP. Page 45, items 59, 60, 61, 62, and 63. Page 46, items 64, 65, 66, 67, and 68. Page 47, items 69, 70, 71, 72, and 73. Page 48, items 74, 75, 76, 77, and 78. Page 49, items 79, 80, 81, and 82. Page 50, items 83, 84, 85, 86, and 87. And that completes the consent agenda. Also, please, I need to make a note on page 49, item number 82. That should say recommended by the mayor instead of the purchasing agent. And also item number 83 on page 50, that should also say recommended by the mayor instead of the purchasing agent.
What was that item number, Madam Clerk? That last one?
83.
Okay,
It should,
thanks.
on page 50, it should say recommended by the mayor instead of the purchasing agent.
Okay.
And I just noticed that there is an item that was submitted as an addendum. Mr. McDaniel should have, I believe he sent that to you. So there should be an addendum item. It'll be item number 88, I believe.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Clerk, that's correct. That's dealing with the city hosting the Birmingham Legion this weekend at Legion Field, and the cost associated with us hosting that event for staffing and equipment, sanitizing, that type of thing.
Also, we received,
I need to read the motion. We need to read this
yes,
statement.
We read.
Tim,
Oh, consent agenda, sorry. Thank
No,
you.
it's the about the Council of the City of Birmingham having reviewed the agenda presented for this meeting on May 11th, 2020.
We've done that already,
Oh,
sir.
okay,
Yes.
all right.
so you just have your other statement dealing with the consent agenda.
Yes, and then we need to go around and ask if there are any items that need to be removed. Any council items that want to be removed or added?
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
on page 49, I'd like to remove item 82 from consent because it hasn't been to Budget and Finance and it doesn't have any transparency. It's got a lot of missing parts.
All right.
Then
Item number
I have
82.
I have a question about item, so many items today. Here it is on page 38. I don't want to take it off of consent, but item 28, I wanted to know the funding source. And then if nobody knows the funding source, we could take it off consent.
Didn't that go through Budget and Finance yesterday?
Banks High School demolition?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, I missed the funding source.
Okay.
Just missed it completely. So somebody can just tell me, that's all I want.
Is there no one
Have
from
any,
administration?
I'm not trying to stop the demolition.
No, I know you're not, but I'm just wondering, is there no one from the the administration that could just tell you real quick?
Mr. President, I can answer the question.
Yes, sir.
The funding source is a DECA grant that we, the council approved probably less than maybe 2 years ago. It's a DECA grant that we are paying on every year. It's around 50 grand that we pay back in debt service to it. And it should be in your packet, the budget ordinance.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted. I was having technological difficulties.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to take item 33 of consent.
Okay.
And item 37.
Okay. 33, sir.
Hmm?
Yeah, I'm not for sure. Council Hort, is that all for you? Just
Yeah, at this moment, yes. Go ahead.
okay. I didn't know who was next up. I couldn't hear. Who's next?
I'd like to take off item 83 on page 50.
And like to take off item 1 on page 1.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Anybody else? We're all good. Everybody good? Okay. How are we with the addendum item? That's for the Birmingham Legion, the soccer.
Like to consent it.
Okay.
I would like for it not to be on consent.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Okay. All right. Okay. All righty. Is that everybody? Okay. All right. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or citizen interested in a public hearing so request. If so, such item or items will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item number only. All public hearings will be announced. So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
Excuse me, Council Park, I'm sorry. I received an earlier email from Ms. Garner. There was a gentleman at the council chambers who had an interest in an item. I'm not sure which item it is. She directed him to get on to the link, so I don't know if he did or not.
okay. And I'm here in the
want
chamber. I
to
don't see anybody here. I'm actually in the chamber. I can go look outside real quick, but I'm inside the chamber. So if,
I'm on form.
I think she directed him to call in or to come on the link. So I don't know if he did so or not.
I have, my name is Dave Porter and I am here.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Ms. Lisa?
I think he's on here, Mr. Porter, Dave Porter. I think he's
Okay.
muted right there. He is.
Yep, I can't hear you. Mr. Porter?
Yes,
Which
I'm here.
Which item were you?
I don't see an item number on this, but it's relative to a demolition of a family home.
Okay, so here's, if it's not on the agenda, you think it's
I
on?
think it's on the agenda. I just need that. If I know the address, I think I
What's
can
the
find
address?
it.
The address,
Yes.
the address is 2304 42nd Avenue North.
2304.
Yes, 42nd Avenue North.
Okay. So we need to take that particular item off of, we need it withdrawn.
It's item number 64. It's assessment. It's the assessment of a condemnation of a demolition property. It's on page 46, item number 64.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll ask that item 64 be withdrawn, and Mr. Porter, Mr. Mitchell, can you give us some direction on, Mr. Porter, how can we communicate with you? Are you still in the building?
No, I have come home.
Okay.
They told me
Mr. President, we'll have somebody from our planning, engineering, permits reach out to Mr. Porter.
Okay, Mr. Porter, did you hear the communication from Mr. Mitchell? Someone will be in touch with you today. I think they have your contact information.
I don't know. I've only received a certified letter from them. I have not given any contact information.
If he received a certified letter, that means we have this information. So we'll get in contact with him.
Mr. Porter, so what we're going to do is the mayor's office said they'll be in touch with you. They'll be in contact with you. We're going to ask that item 64 be withdrawn from the agenda. And that would then allow an opportunity for the mayor's office through planning engineering to have some communication with you. And I think you all will be able to address it from that perspective.
Move, Mr. President.
Is that okay, Mr. Porter, with you?
Yes, that's fine with me.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk. So I think Mr. Mitchell, we're okay with withdrawing item 64. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, if we can make sure that one is addressed too, so,
Okay, yes, sir, I've taken that one off.
okay. All right, thank you all. I think we have a motion in front of us.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Woods,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay, consent agenda is approved. First item, Madam Clerk.
The first item will be item number 1 on page 2. It's a resolution rescinding and canceling resolution number 305-21, adopted by the council March 23rd, 2021, approving the application of the Mobile Bay Trading Company LLC for a restaurant retail liquor license to be used at Red or White Birmingham, 3916 Claremont Avenue, Birmingham. And this goes along with item number 2. So would you like me to read that one?
Chairman Williams, are you good
Please.
with that?
Yeah, please.
Yes, ma'am.
A resolution relative to the application of the Mobile Bay Trading Company LLC for an on and off premise beer and wine license to be used at Red or White Birmingham, 3916 Claremont Avenue, Birmingham, and the hearing of our interested parties. This is a public hearing item. Any persons who wish to speak for or against this item may do so by joining the meeting of the full council using the link provided on the agenda. Please use the hand raise function on WebEx to request to speak to this agenda item. The audio conference number is 1-415-655-0002. Access code 187-646-0163. If you're calling via telephone, please press *3 to request to speak to this agenda item.
Motion to approve the
Second.
2 items.
Second.
All right, so you got the motion in the second, Madam
Yes.
Clerk? Okay,
Yes.
so item 1 is something that the council passed a while back. They filled out their application incorrectly, so we'd actually be rescinding what we passed a while back. And then item 2 is the corrected application, and so it's a clerical issue for ABC, basically. Any questions from the council?
Great explanation.
All right. Back to you, Mr. President. I think he stepped out. I think we're
We're ready to vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilor Abbott,
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilor
Aye.
Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilor O'Quinn,
Yes.
Councilor Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilor Williams,
aye.
Councilor Woods,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay, those items are approved. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Okay, the next item is also on page 2, item number
Chair show.
Item number 3, a resolution relative to the application of Damian DeMond Stewart for a towing service license to be used at Dames Towing and Sales LLC, 9009 Roebuck Boulevard, Suite D, Birmingham, to operate one wrecker on the streets of Birmingham. So we need a motion.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay.
Council Williams, Chairman Williams.
But yeah, this is just a routine towing request, and it meets all of the requirements from Birmingham Police Department.
Okay. Are there any questions from anyone?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask why there's no recommendation from the Public Safety Committee. Was that due to, what was that due to?
It's not a recommendation of no. It said it's absent of a recommendation because we did not meet.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
but I didn't want to, so if it's mundane and it's something that we approve typically, and it doesn't and it meets all of the requirements, then we will put it forth with no recommendation. If we need to meet on it, then we'll meet on it.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all? Councilor Abbott?
Yeah, that was all. That was
Okay.
all.
All right. Okay, we're ready for a vote, please.
Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Woods,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. All righty. Next item, please.
The next item is on page 3. It's item number 4, a resolution relative to the application of EJY Enterprises for a towing service license to be used at Tri-State Recovery, Irvington, Alabama, to operate one wrecker on the streets of Birmingham.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right, this is the same as before. Birmingham Police have investigated and they approved this application.
Any questions or anything from anybody? Okay. All right, we're ready, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard, Councilmember Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Woods,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay, that item passes. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Okay, the next item is number 29. It's on page 38. It is an ordinance to extend electronic meetings of the Birmingham City Council pursuant to the governor's extension of the state of emergency proclamations for the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is an item of permanent operation. So we are going to need unanimous consent to bring the item up today.
Okay. All right. Move the item.
I move unanimous consent.
Second.
Before we,
Councilmember Abbott,
before you call the vote. So what are we doing here, Mr. President?
What item?
This is item
This
20,
item.
and this is just an extension of the electronic meetings through July. The governor extended the state of emergency, and this is to extend it through, I think, July 6th.
So when do we talk about coming back as a council? Are we gonna spend this whole election cycle virtually? Is that
No,
the
sir.
plan?
No, sir. We are.
Because I just think that we need, citizens need an opportunity to be present. And I just don't think, because if, we're coming to work, we're doing everything else we do. We attend football games and parties. And, and so if the issue of if safety is an issue, then I don't understand why we can't meet in the public. I just really don't. And I think pretty much all of us have had our the shots and everything, but other cities are meeting. And I think we were already employing the safety measures. And I just think, citizens ought to have an opportunity to weigh in. And I don't know if this is the best platform that will lend itself to that.
Okay. All righty.
Okay,
Anyone else?
this motion is just to get unanimous consent so you can discuss it, but
Yeah.
even though you've already
We'll set
started.
it up for discussion and
Okay, so let's get UC first.
Yep.
Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt,
No,
Councilmember O'Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Woods,
Aye.
Unanimous consent
Pre-
to be heard
President
today, so now
President
that
Pro
it's
Tem Alexander,
not unanimous
Aye.
consent, it won't be heard,
Council President Parker.
right?
I think, Dr. Quinn, you had a conversation going on, but
Well, we can't talk about it because we didn't get unanimous consent.
Yeah, I thought,
It'll have to be held over to next week.
okay. All righty.
This should receive unanimous consent.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item.
Okay, the next item will be on page 39, item number 33. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with Mobility Capital Finance, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $309,150 for startup and program costs in year one, and in an amount not to exceed $150,000 per year for any additional years for a term not to exceed 3 years to provide a payment card program through the provision of municipal identification cards and immediate response cards, financial and project management and data services to support the management and administration of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program grant. The city received approximately $6,272,092 to provide rental and utility payment assistance to landlord and utility companies on behalf of eligible low to moderate income households that have experienced loss of income due to the coronavirus pandemic. The city desires to retain Mobility Capital Finance, Inc. for the provision of a payment card program and financial and project management and data services in an amount not to exceed the identified amount for services to support program management, compliance, and financial reporting, and to distribute money received by the city pursuant to the United States Department of the Treasury Emergency Rental Assistance Program grant. So we need a motion.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay. Council Hill, so Hoyt, you had let's see what his question is, and I'll ask the
I just
administration.
want to know, why are we using some private company when in fact, in other situations, we've used the nonprofits, to provide this service. And, JCCO or any of those other entities. And so why are we using a private company to do that? And what is the reputation of this particular entity that is being suggested? So I need some folks to talk about these folks.
Okay, Chief. Good morning.
We're going to let Kelvin Datcher speak to that, Mr. President.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I didn't see you. Good morning, Mr. Datcher.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Council. Today I have the privilege of introducing to the full Council the Mocha payment platform, and their team is here to provide.
You speak up a little louder, sir.
I appreciate it, Mr. Hoyt. I'm getting a little older, so I speak a little softer. So, good morning,
Yeah,
council.
but your voice is muzzled a little bit.
Good morning, council. The Mocify payment platform is we are proposing engaging Mocify in order to facilitate very transparent and efficient delivery of resources from the city to individual businesses, individuals, and organizations. Um, we did a very thorough presentation to Budget and Finance a couple of weeks ago. Will the project team from Mocify quickly introduce yourselves, and we'll do a version of that presentation right now.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. My name is Madia Parrish. I'm the head of product and mobility capital finance, also known as Mocify. I'm excited to be here to share with you the way that we can serve your community through the emergency rental assistance payment program. And I'm going to pass the baton to my colleague, Stanley Toussaint, who will introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley Toussaint, Head of Community Partnerships at Mobility Capital Finance, also known as Mocify, and it's a pleasure to be joining you all today.
I didn't see the transparency on this company. Can you provide that for me, Mr. Datcher?
That should be in the packet, Mr.
It was.
It was. Maybe it's in another place. I'm looking at it, looking at the attachments. I don't particularly see it. So where are you all located? I can't find the.
I will share with you. If you wanted to find our website, we are www.mocafi.com. We are a New York based. I'm going to give you all that information, sir. We are a New York based, African American owned and African American led fintech company serving the underbanked and unbanked communities throughout the United States.
Okay. And so how do you prevent fraud and things of that nature? Because we even experienced that with unemployment.
That's an excellent question. I'm going to share a demo with you on how the actual function works, but I will share with you that Mobility Financial Capital is backed by an FDIC insured bank called Sunrise Banks. They are a B Corp bank and they're headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so we have the FDIC insurance to prevent fraud of the funds in and of themselves. And we have the best of breed security measures across our mobile platform to mitigate risk and fraud for the users. And when I talk through the demo, I will share how there is no risk neither to the city of Birmingham nor to the recipient of the subsidy on the loss of those funds to their intended destination of utilities or landlord.
And so are you going to have somebody local to administer this?
We are partnering with, I'm sorry, go ahead, Stanley.
Not just speak to that. So actually we just hired a local community engagement manager. Her name is Terry Chapman, and she previously served on former Senator Jones' campaign. So she was the campaign manager, and she recently signed on to run our community engagement efforts in the city of Birmingham. So we're really excited to have her.
She's outstanding. I do know her. But I just want to make sure that these dollars are protected, and fraud is always going to be an issue when you start administering programs. And my thing is for the council to get a monthly report on how those funds are being dispensed and what areas of the city that they've been dispensed, and so that we have some clear understanding of some equity in this distribution.
So quickly, let me just speak to that as well too. So given that the funds are coming from the city and the process that Madia is gonna outline to you, in short, we could share all the data with you. So we'll not only be able to share on an individual level, who is getting the funds and how the funds are being dispersed. We'll also be able to share. So this doesn't really apply here because specifically these funds are only going to be paid to landlords, property managers, and or utility providers. But we'll provide an entire data report that's going to show you when when it was paid, how much was paid, either at an individual level or at an aggregate level. And we'll decide with the city what that cadence should be. If it should be quarterly, monthly, it'll be at the discretion of the city, how often we procure the reports for the city.
I think monthly because I want to make sure that even when we're dealing with landlords, that we're not disproportionately not being inclusive of others who provide housing for our residents, and so that nobody gets a monopoly on how those funds are used. And I think a monthly report would certainly give us an indicator as to how that process is working.
We're happy to provide that.
Councilman, hold on one second. Councilman Hoyt, I want you also to know that we are working in concert with Alethea House, who is vetting all of our subsidy residents. I'm going to claim our because we're all part of this Birmingham solution. So we will identify who all the subsidy residents will be. They will pass that information to us. So there is a very careful process on the cross-section of Birminghamians, I believe is the correct terminology, of all the Birminghamians who are going to receive the subsidy. It is dispersed across 6 utilities: Alabama Power Company, Spire Gas, Birmingham Waterworks, Tarrant Electric, Bessemer Gas and Electric, and Trustville Water and Gas. In addition to that, there are 2 rental components. There is the Housing Authority of Birmingham District, and then there's also all the individual landlords. So Alethea House and the City of Birmingham have cared for all of the potential payments that would be dispersed to each of those recipients, if you will, of the subsidy, so that there isn't one particular person eating a larger component of the pie by nature of the way that the utility is set up. And then, for example, keeping out from the opportunity those other peripheral utilities because they also service Birminghamians that are being considered. So that's kind of my long answer to say that all of that consideration has been taken into account before they even come to the disbursement component, which is MoCaFi's part of the value chain.
Okay. Ms. Ferris, do you not see a potential conflict of interest with respect to Alethea House distributing these funds when they too are landlords, and so how do you extract from that perspective?
Mr. Mayor, individual tenants are eligible to apply for these these dollars, right? So when we sent you all that notification that we were going live back on April 26th to accept applications, well, we received well over 1,000 at this point. Individuals are allowed to make the applications themselves. Although none of the resources are going directly to the tenants, those dollars are actually being routed.
So I understand that component, Mr. Datcher. I was just trying to say, with them being a landlord themselves, I'm not talking about the individual, I'm talking about the landlord, since they are the ones who are going to be recipients by way of their tenants, these dollars. And Alethea House also is a landlord. And so I just want to see how we're going to safeguard that for not, to make sure that there's equity. And that's
Every
why
applicant. Yeah, so every applicant and every applicant, whether it's a tenant or a landlord, are going to go through the exact same process and face the exact same scrutiny. We also have a dual layer of kind of vetting with the Department of Community Development staff, providing oversight and overview of all of the operations, both the MoCaFi payment side and the application side that's being managed by Alethea House. So they're in daily contact, more than daily contact throughout the day. Community Development staff, led by Mr. Hatcher and Wendy Hicks, are directly engaged with Alethea House all day, every day.
You did well.
You trained me well, Mr. Hoyt.
I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for the public.
Yes, sir.
That's why we're here.
And we appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Mr. President or Madam Pro Tem. I wanted to ask a question, I guess, a little bit about the outreach and to see if there's like, you mentioned a lot of entities, a lot of utility companies and things like that, landlords is basically, as far as the outreach goes, an opportunity for, say, I guess the best way to describe it would be referrals. Like the utility companies probably have a good idea of who has struggled through the pandemic to keep up. Is there a level of coordination in that space of, I guess, being able to reach out to individuals and making sure that they're getting that information? I guess if you could just generally talk about what that outreach process is.
Yes, sir. We were engaged, and my days worked with each and every of the utilities to kind of set up the actual payment process. But all of the utilities have been enthusiastic about this opportunity. Some going as far as wanting to put the actual information on the bills that they're sending out to all the customers within the footprint. So the county is launching a program yesterday. The state's program launched a couple of weeks ago as well. So there are 3 layers of opportunities of impact for these utilities and for these landlords. And they are as enthusiastic as anybody about making sure that their clients and customers are aware of this opportunity. And so we're working very, very closely with them, and they have all been great partners across the board.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
I don't know if Mr. President is.
I mean, Madam Pro Tem.
That's
President,
fine, Mr. Hoyt. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and I want to thank Council Woods for raising that question. And so, what are the platforms in which we're using to get that message? Not just with Alabama Power, but I guess the utilities on their bills. But we need voices. We need, it needs to be on television. We got $6 million. We don't want to send back. Alabama has a habit of sending back money because they don't want to distribute it to the people that really needs. And so I want to make sure that every dime, every dollar is spent. And so what is the marketing platform outside of just the utilities? Are we going to do radio? Are we going to do television? Are we going to go to have a town hall, whatever? Because, these are tough times. Persons already experiencing, being behind in their rent and rearage and what have you. So just trying to see. And what is the cap?
So we'll start. Mr. Hoyt. We don't have a cap for each individual. We're really assessing each individual based upon kind of their own needs, because that cap would be artificial, and it wouldn't necessarily give you that sense of equity because someone has a larger need than someone else. So we're trying to really look at each individual's application separately. In terms of that outreach, you kind of read from our script. We're doing all of the above. The mayor's already done a town hall on this. We've done extensive social and earned media. So it's been out there in that public. We're now about to launch a robust marketing campaign that does include radio, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hoyt. So we are pushing forward on this. The American Rescue Plan is going to provide another tranche of emergency rescue dollars beyond the 6.2 that we've already gotten. So we're going to have really an opportunity to absolutely impact our friends and neighbors in need across this community. And we're going to get the word out. And we'll make sure that you get the details of that marketing plan via email, so you'll know where those the radio stations, who's carrying it, and kind of the frequency. I can get you all that.
Yeah, because I'd like to see the council and the mayor really put something forth to get that message out. People look for us individually as council and collectively as a council. And so I'm hoping that there'll be opportunities for us to present a collective effort, and so that people understand. And if you got anything today, you can send it to my office. I need to post this on my web page, on my, Facebook page, so that people can understand that these funds are available.
Well, yes, sir. We said that, but we're happy to send it again. Item 82, with Courtney French Radio, WATV. That's one of the venues that we're going to be using to get that word out.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
let
it didn't say that. It didn't say that.
Mm.
It was very generic, so I didn't know
Yes,
how
sir.
you were going to use that.
well,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
all right, Mr. Datcher and Council Hoyt, and I guess, Mr. Mayor, it would come to you. If we could sit down and work on a joint marketing strategy, working with Chair Lady Alexander, or President Pro Tem of Utilities, to kind of coordinate the efforts as it relates to if there's hosting of town halls or communication to strategy, making sure there's a joint effort. And if Mr. Mayor, if okay, if Pro Tem, I guess, or Chair Lady of Utilities, could coordinate those efforts, working with our team and also working, I guess, with Mr. Datcher, to figure out, as we're moving forward, it's a joint team effort. All 10 of us
Yes,
working.
because he has a very good television
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
look forward to kicking it with Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, sir.
Ready to
Okay.
go? Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
And we can,
You ready to move on, sir?
Yes, sir, I am. I was just trying to get us to a good point where we're ready to move forward on the item.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
before we move on, I just wanted to ask a question that I think is related here. Is there any kind of assistance for people who are having trouble paying their mortgages? I know this is for rental assistance, but is there anything out there to help people who, have lost their jobs and can't pay their mortgages?
Councilor Abbott, the state of Alabama was granted slightly more than $125 million through the American Rescue Plan for homeowner and mortgage assistance. Those dollars are going to be administered by the Alabama Housing Finance Authority. They have not yet set up and released that system, but we have been engaged with them already since before they got those dollars, and making sure that we were aware of that process and that we could make sure we include and we engage Birmingham residents so that they can pursue those dollars as well. So as soon as AHFA gets online with their program, we will make sure we get that information to you. And Mr. President, we have already been on and will continue to be on town hall meetings with Council Pro Tem.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Datcher. I look forward to working with you all. As you said, we've had a couple of town halls already that were sponsored by the Utilities Committee. And so I thank you for being present on those to make residents aware. And so we'll just escalate those communication efforts to be sure the word gets out to everyone. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Yes, ma'am. Councilor Abbott, you good? You ready to vote, or does that address everything?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, we're ready to vote, please.
Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn,
Aye.
Councilmember Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Woods,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay, that item passes. Next item, Madam Clerk, please.
Okay, the next item is on page 41, item 37. A resolution pursuant to section 11-40-1, 11-47-16, and 11-47-19 Codes of Alabama 1975, authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with Redemptive Cycles, Inc., and an amount not to exceed, and the money has changed to $14,999 to provide the following goods or services to the city. The provider will provide 8 to 10 bike maintenance stands for the city of Birmingham and the general public within the city. Said funds to come from Councilor Darrell O'Quinn's discretionary funds.
Okay.
May I please
Move
politely
approval.
interject
Yeah,
for
item.
one quick moment? We were potentially going to offer a demo before the vote so that there was a visual on how the app was going. Given that we've now moved past that, would you like Mobility Capital Finance to step out of your meeting? I just want to be
President,
respectful of the sensitivity of the information that you're sharing.
Mr. President, if it's okay with you, part of that follow-up, Councilor Horace said he wanted, we could provide that presentation at a later date if that satisfies you, Mr. President, and your body.
Yes, sir. And I would just ask if you, Council President Pro Tem Alexander, to coordinate those efforts and work along with President Pro Tem Alexander.
Will do.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay.
Thank you. We'll
thank you.
disconnect so that you can continue with your meeting uninterrupted. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. We're now on item 37.
Move the
Motion
item.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, the item is before us. Any questions on item 37?
Yes. Councilor Quinn, what is the contour of what you're doing here?
Councilor Hoyt, these are bicycle repair stands that are designed and manufactured for public use, and we are seeking to have them installed in various publicly accessible locations around the city, just as a additional amenity for folks who, may not have the convenience of being able to have the common tools or even a bicycle pump available to, perform those basic maintenance requirements on a bicycle.
Excellent. So then when I get to ride my bike out in 5 Points, I'm gonna have one over there.
We're.
So you concentrating
downtown. Actually have one. I don't know that we have a location identified for 5 Points West. I'm definitely viewing this as a first round. Some of the locations that we have identified.
This is your pilot.
That's exactly right. So I didn't want to, commit too much for a first round. But I will tell you that some of the locations that we have identified in this first round are outside of District 5. So I am perfectly comfortable if this works out to be a successful project of funding future rounds of this outside of District 5 around the city. So it's something that I think is going to improve quality of life for people who choose to ride a bicycle but may not be able to get to a bike shop.
Okay, excellent. Great initiative.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Are we ready to vote now?
Okay. Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Member Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
And Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay, that item passes. Next item.
Okay, next item will be, and just as a reminder, item number 56 was withdrawn, as well as item number 64. Our next item will be item number 82 on page 49. A resolution approving payment to Courtney French Broadcasting LLC, Birmingham, in the amount of $50,000 for radio advertisement through June 30th, 2021 for the Office of the Mayor in accordance with City Code 3-1-7, Section 11-40-1 of the Code of Alabama 1975 to contract for authorized goods and services, and Section 11-47-9 of the Code of Alabama 1975 for advertisement of the city or any function or undertaking of the city, both within and without the limits of the city, through the use of any recognized medium of advertising. And we need a motion on the item.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, all right, I think there's a little bit more clarity brought to this particular item. I think it's tied in with,
Mr. President,
yes, ma'am.
actually, there's no clarity because there are no attachments for this item. It hasn't been to Budget and Finance. There's no transparency form and no contract. Did anybody read the contract? You couldn't because there was nothing attached to our agenda for this item. So we don't have any clarity. And our transparency form says that it's applicable to all city contracts and appointments not governed by state competitive bid laws. So not only is there no contract, but we have no transparency form that's required when we have a contract. Maybe the reason we don't have it is because we don't have a contract. So why are we considering this at this point? Why is it on our agenda when there's nothing to tell us what is going on? Nothing.
All right.
Zero.
Either we can do a couple things. We can table it and perhaps that information can be provided. We could do a 1 week delay, or we can sit and talk through it. So what's the pleasure?
Well, I think we need to be able to read the contract, not just to be told that there is one. And we need to be able to read the transparency form. And if something's going to be put on the council agenda, it should be complete and it should have followed all of the council's rules, like going to Budget and Finance, where it can be vetted. So is everybody else just fine with approving things that you know nothing about, or does everybody know stuff that I don't know?
Mr. President.
No. Yes, sir. You want to do a 1 week delay, Mr. Mitchell, or?
We're okay for it to go to Budget and Finance before Council Abbott's request.
Okay. All right. So that's 2 week, 1 week, 2 week, 2 week.
2 weeks.
Okay. So Council Abbott, what we'll do is we'll do a 2 week delay, and it'll come to you, I guess, on that Monday and show back up on the agenda that Tuesday following day. Is that okay with you?
It is, but I would just like to ask that things not be put on the council agenda if they are not ready and they have not followed protocol. That's not a difficult request. That's not hard to do. Just do what is required. It's, it seems simple.
Okay. All right. This time we'll make a motion for 2 week, 2 week delay on item 82. And in the meantime, it will go through Budget and Finance on the next meeting, which will be that Monday before.
Yeah, Mr. President.
May 24th.
May 24th. Okay.
At 3:30 p.m.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
President, we had talked about having a joint effort in terms of the awareness, and I just want to make sure that in the contract that it shows mayor and council, and so that the councils will have access. So this is just going to be the mayor. I hear you shaking your head, Chad.
I thought we were.
President.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Mayor. Hold on, Mr. Mayor. I thought we were going to work through Chair Lady Alexander on working through. I thought that's how we decided we were going to work through Chair Lady Alexander's Utilities Committee. Council Horde, is that?
Yeah, but everybody
right?
doesn't sit on the Utilities Committee. But I'm just trying to make sure that the council, because the issue for me, and I don't know anybody else, but is the fact that we want this, the messaging needs to come from the leader of that particular area. The district depends on us to communicate to them, notwithstanding the pro tem, because she does marvelous presentation before the television and radio. So, but I think all of us have those skill sets.
I agree, but someone has to coordinate those activities, and we've asked.
Okay, I'm not saying not to coordinate. I just want to make sure in the contract, if these are city funds, that the council have access to the marketing, or do we need to create our own? That's what I'm trying to suggest here.
Okay, here's the first thing. Let's see the item that's going to be presented to Budget and Finance. And at that time, we will then know how to proceed, because we don't have a document in front of us. So let's wait until the document is before us, or at least that's going to be submitted to Budget and Finance and on the 24th, and then back before the council on the 25th. And hopefully in the next 7 to 10 days, a lot of these conversations will be able to be reflective in the presentation on the 24th of Budget and Finance.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. All righty. So we're ready for the 2-week delay on item 82.
Okay. Councilor Abbott.
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilor O'Quinn.
Yes.
Councilor Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilor Williams. Councilor Williams.
Aye.
Councilor Woods.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
And Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay. That's a 2-week delay, and we'll be working through that particular item. Okay, that item is 2-week delay. Next item, Madam Clerk.
The next item is on page 50, item number 83. A resolution approving payment to Jefferson County Mayors Association, an amount not to exceed $44,000 a year, renewable annually, subject to funds availability for a period not to exceed 3 years for membership dues for the mayor's office, this being the only source of supply.
Okay. We have a motion.
Move the item.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Council Williams.
Yeah, I had questions about the item because it was nothing was in our packet about it, but I have re-looked at the budget sheet thanks to a helpful tip from Chaz that we passed, and I'm good.
Okay.
Can you share what that tip was?
Yeah, it was whatever page it was on the budget that we passed.
Okay. All right. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
And Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay, that item passes. Next item.
Okay, the next item was the item that you wanted as an addendum. It'll be item number 84. And it's a resolution determining that the Birmingham Legion soccer event to be held on Saturday, May 15th, 2021 at Legion Field, 400 Graymont Avenue West, serves a public purpose that promotes goodwill and services and serves a public interest, and authorizing and empowering the mayor to expend funds to pay for goods and services for this event related to city costs in an amount not to exceed $55,000 in accordance with section 3-1-7 of the General Code of the City of Birmingham. And the funding source is Fund 57, lodging surcharge.
So
Yes,
moved.
ma'am.
Second.
Second.
Sorry, I didn't, who was the motion?
Hilliard.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. All right,
Mr. President,
yes, sir.
it's actually 88. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Number
that's
88.
88.
Number
Okay.
88. I apologize. 88.
All right, the item is before us. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question regarding this item. Legion has a field, a soccer field over, it's actually UAB's BBVA Compass Field. And so I was wondering why we're moving them to Legion Field and spending $55,000 for that purpose. What are we gaining by doing this?
Number one, fans coming into the city. Council Abbott, as you know, there was an issue with the condition of the field over at their current facility. And so the fact that they wouldn't cancel the game and we still could have the game to proceed on, there was a request made to move the game to Legion Field. And so they're playing their rivals, Memphis, this Saturday. And so we're expecting a great fan experience. And so we're just being, I think, good partners, I think, with the mayor and the park board. The park board met this morning to approve authorizing the use of Legion Field for the game this Saturday. But now this is a matter of, resources to get ready, whether that's, necessary equipment and goods and services, plus staff to be able to make the game happen on Saturday.
Okay, so shouldn't they be paying us $55,000 for the money we're going to have to spend to ready our field for them to play on instead of us paying the $55,000?
And I think they're incurring some costs, but I think we'll be able to make money, whether it's concessions or parking, I think should be able to
Recoup our
recoup. Yes, ma'am.
$55,000.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a lot of parking, a lot of concessions.
We're expecting a good crowd though.
Okay, I didn't know there was a problem with their field. They played
Yes,
on
ma'am.
it the other day. Maybe they were.
Yes, ma'am. There was a issue in the last week, but it's an issue, and we know that UAB and others are working on that to fix the problem. But in the meantime, they still have games, and so Legion Field hosting soccer, I think, will helps us on the larger scale of attracting additional events as we move forward in the soccer space.
Okay, well, thank you for
Okay.
that
Yes, ma'am.
explanation.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, sir. Council Hoy, did you have a question or we've addressed your?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to know specifically what the money is going to be spent on, and what can we expect from $55,000?
I think it's up to Councilor Hoyt. Like I said, I think you have staff. Also, there's equipment. There's extra sanitizing that's going on. Also, just like this was the same amount we used when we did the Funk Fest. So we're using the same amount of personnel and the proper, whether it's sanitizing, but also this is going to include getting the field prepared, whether that's paint, removal, and restriping it, once the game is over. So been in touch with Park and Recreation. They've identified needs that they're going to need to be able to make sure we have, the soccer game on Saturday.
Okay. I think somebody has mentioned something in a chat, so I don't know if the co-host would want to share that.
Well, that's what's before us. So we're good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, we're ready to vote.
Councilor Abbott,
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilor O'Quinn,
Yes.
Councilor Smitherman,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Councilor Woods,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay, that item passes. One other item, since I've been in the chamber, and this was it's a travel request. We're going to call it addendum item 89 for Mr. Kelvin Datcher to attend the Alabama League of Municipalities in Huntsville this week from the 13th through, I think, the 15th. And that's an item we need to consider for travel for Mr. Datcher.
So move, Mr. President.
All right, I'm gonna second it.
Second.
Okay.
Councilor Abbott,
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt,
Yes, we get a break. I'm just kidding.
Councilor O'Quinn,
Yes.
Councilor Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilor Williams,
If,
Councilor Woods,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
and Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay. All right. Thank you all. I think that's all the items. So are we to,
Mr. Parker, President Parker, I mean, if, well, can we get Mr. Datcher to please send us the American Recovery Plan literature? Since we've just graciously approved his travel to Huntsville or wherever he's going,
yes, sir. Well,
like ASAP.
okay.
I'm serious.
Okay. I know you all should have received something yesterday. We sent something out. I think it was the initial
It was a
information.
link to the Treasury page, which is not clear because it doesn't have a link for entitlement cities.
Okay. Well, we'll got the
It
second.
doesn't have what we need.
Okay. Yes, sir. We'll work on that. All righty. There are committee announcements about committee reports.
Yes, sir. Council President Parker.
Go ahead, Councilor O'Quinn.
Okay, yeah, sure. So next Monday, May 17th, the Education Committee will be meeting at noon, and we are expecting Superintendent Sullivan. He's going to be presenting information about summer programming that Birmingham City Schools will have for kids. So again, that is Monday, May 17th at noon.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other announcements?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to announce that the next virtual Budget and Finance meeting will be May 24th, 2021 at 3:30 p.m. Submissions are due on May 19th, 2021 by 12 noon, and there are no exceptions, so everybody needs to get their information in. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other announcements?
Yes, Madam President, not necessarily
sir. Yes, sir,
announcements,
Mr.
but I
Hoyt.
wanted
Mr. Hoyt?
to share that I have a Miles alumni. Can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
sir.
Barely.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I have gotten several calls from Miles alumni as well as the administration with respect to what we did last week. And they're, they're upset. They're not satisfied that the school is here and we have slighted them with respect to supporting them in a way that we've supported schools that are outside of the city of Birmingham. And so, but I want to register that with this body. And I know that Miles touches just about everybody on this council. And so I know the president has made some efforts to reach out to the administration, but we need to do right by Miles, and we haven't.
Councilor Hoyt, if we can, if you and I can have a conversation on a pathway forward. Is that possible?
It's always possible, sir. My number, you have both of them.
Yes, sir. Well, they will be ringing in just a little while, but I think everybody wants to make sure that, and I think we indicated that last week, that Miles is part of our Birmingham family, and we're going to make sure we take care of family. So I'll be reaching out to you in just a little while. Councilor Hoyt.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Other announcements on committee meetings? Okay. All right. Council Williams.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 All opposed?
Okay. Everyone, please be safe. Thank you.
See you this
Meeting's
afternoon.
adjourned. All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.